Now we're going to enter the patient's home medication reconciliation according to the list you've been given, pretending that's what the patient is handing you or telling you that they take at home. So we're starting on a summary tab, clinical here. Notice home medications. We're going to edit this, and we're actually going to include what pharmacy the patient usually uses. Starting with albuterol, ALB. Let's see here. Albuterol sulfate. We have a lot of choices here. Notice one of the other choices here is NEBS, albuterol sulfate NEBS, 2.5 milligrams per 3. That's commonly given here. That is not a choice up here. So obviously we want to be as accurate as possible, clarifying with the patient what the dosages are, because if they do get admitted, then we're going to want the medications to match up as closely as possible to our formulary. For right now, we'll say 1.25 per 3. The more pluses you click, the better. You want to get down as far as you can, because it offers you more information as you complete the rest of the process. NEB. So we're going to go with that one. Nitroglycerin. 0.4 tab. Oh, make sure you click the extra plus. Whoops. And that's what happens if you slightly miss something. So just so you know for future reference, if you make that mistake and you click cancel, because I've chosen the nitroglycerin, it wants more information right now, but let's say I just want to cancel that med. Changes will not be saved, exit anyway. Notice that if you do that, it takes you back out to the main screen. If you go enter in again to home medication, you've lost everything. So I would recommend that you save pretty frequently using the save button down here if possible, or just leave that medication that you entered wrongly in until the end. When you continue your work, you can save at the end, and it's easier to delete at the end. I would be very careful clicking that cancel button, especially if you've entered 7 or 8 medications already, haven't saved yet. You click the cancel, it will take them all out. So just beware. Extreme caution. So let's start over. Albuterol nebs, 2.5, nebulizer, nitro, glycerin, 0.4 tab. Arrows don't seem to work here, so that's not an option. 0.4 milligrams sublingual. And so the way this kind of works is, depending on how you work best, I like to put the names in first of all of the meds and then go back and fill in the other details. But again, if you don't save and you get pulled away or accidentally hit cancel, there's the risk of losing a lot of work. So we have 4 milligrams PO. There we go, tab, 4 milligrams PO. So what some people like to do is go finish these one by one or piece by piece. But you'll see it's kind of a tedious process. So what I have to do is, for the Zofran, fill in frequency, make sure PRN is correct, sometimes reason for use, last taken, and there's protocol and taper if that needs to be in, and source is also some information you can put in. So I'll finish, let's say I'll finish one of these just to show you how it is to finish an entire medicine or one medication. So we're going PRN Q4 hours for nausea. So frequency, PRN yes, frequency, Q4 hours. That's what we want. Notice PRN is an option, but PRN is a little vague. It's best to have Q4 hours, PRN yes, PRN reason. We have nausea. So again, you can type in here and start the word nausea. Sometimes even hit enter, and it'll take you where you need to be. I hit enter again. Status confirmed, which is exactly what you want for the red question mark to go away. Any red question marks will have to be gotten rid of in order for this thing to save. So last taken, let's just say unknown for now. Source, you can do patient or do a lookup. F9 I think will look up. Yes, F9 is a quick way if you like using the keyboard as much as possible. F9, and then you can arrow down if you want. Patient. So and we'll go ahead and click save. Last taken on edit. Okay, so what it did there is it completed Zofran, but since these have question marks, it wants us to finish the rest of these. So the nitro really is PRN for chest pain. So for PRN, I'm going to say yes. Frequency is technically a Q5 minutes. PRN, yes. Chest pain. And I just typed in chest and it was the only option there. So I'm going to leave last taken and source alone for a second, and you'll see why in a bit. I'm going to go to albuterol. So the frequency says PRN for shortness of breath and wheezing. So PRN, yes. You'll see SSS. Shortness of breath / wheezing is a choice. Shortness of breath alone is a choice. Wheezing alone is a choice. I'll go ahead and do this one. Shortness of breath and wheezing. Frequency. So I guess this would be one time where the PRN option, even though it's vague, might be the best option. PRN, yes. So last taken and source I left alone for 2 medications. So what we'll do is you'll click this right here on the check all boxes. Last taken. When I click that and all the boxes have been checked, notice I can address this question once and it will apply to all meds even if there were 20. So I'll just put known 1 week ago. Recorded dose is optional. Let's just say no. And then notice the last taken filled in for, looks like nitro and albuterol. So again, they're still all checked, and then I want to give it a source because there's no source there. Again, I can click source, choose patient, okay, and notice patient is there for albuterol, nitro, and Zofran. So it filled in really 2 for me because I did Zofran already. But that's what they call batch documenting. You can batch document most of these at the bottom. Last taken, source, comments, confirm, and unconfirm. We'll do comments real quick just to show you. Test comments. Notice the OK button is not alive right now. You have to click off of that box somehow. And that's very common in Meditech. If you're in a box and you finished your typing, you have to click away from that box in order for the button to come alive sometimes. Otherwise it thinks you're still trying, you might still be trying to type more information. So then we did comments. Notice test comments in the patient comments box for Zofran, as well as nitro, still there, and albuterol. It's there. Save. And since everything was addressed, it's all been saved. This, disregard this. This is just an old vestige of printing an admission medication sheet for the doctor to do on paper, but they should be doing that on the computer now, so we just cancel that. We have 3 meds in, good. So we're going to go back, click edit, and finish these out. We'll go aspirin, 81, PO, Zolpidem, Metformin, 500, Metoprolol, Succinate, 25 PO, Coumadin, we're going 5 PO. It's got a tricky frequency, but we'll address that in a second. And we're going to have to put another Coumadin, 2.5. That's given on different days. Norco, 5, 325. Insulin, Clargine. We're going to go with this one, 100 units sub-Q. We have 2 sliding scale choices, ACHS and Q6. So we'll do ACHS. Continuing on, the sheet says another blood pressure pill I can't remember the name of, PO twice a day. So we do here. Type in blood pressure pill. Choose any med. We know it's PO, but you can type that in. Twice a day, BID. Hypertension. Elevated blood pressure. So then our sheet says we got PO twice a day, right? That's as much information as we have for that one. Another little green pill I take every morning. I don't know the name. So go back to the new button. Any med. PO pill. Every morning. You gotta be careful about that. I typed in Q to see if it would search for me, and it just gave me Q 12 hours. QAM. PRN, no. Reason for use, patient does not know. Unknown is not a choice, so we'll just leave it blank. Guess you can free text too, where it says free text. We'll see if this works. Should. hit enter, you got unknown. Now we'll have to go back up to the list and begin to address all the question marks. It's quite a few. So we'll just go one by one, let's open them. Frequency PO at bedtime, it's saying. So we can try QHS. And it's not, doesn't seem to be a choice. HS is a choice. It's very important to get the right choice in these for linking these medications up to the pharmacy, which will affect whether or not the checks and warnings happen correctly, which will affect nurses and physicians that use the system. So that question mark is going away. Go to the next Coumadin 2.5. We got PO Tuesday and Thursday. So this is a little bit of a special circumstance. Frequency is Tuesday and Thursday. Notice that is not a choice. So you type in the two first letters of each day that they take it. Tuesday and Thursday. The pharmacy prefers, if at all possible, you can include a time. For instance, Tuesday and Thursday at 0900. Now we'll go to the next one. 5 milligrams. It's taken Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So again, first two letters of each day, MO, WE, FR. Notice it will take that, it's turned the question mark to a green check. We'll go ahead and add a time, 0900. Don't want to leave any spaces in there, otherwise it doesn't take it well. Kind of follows this format right here, daily at 900 and daily at 1200. So, took it all away. MOWE, FR. Med definitely rewards you for doing things right the first time. One little mistake and it makes you redo the work. Go on to the next one here. There's my Norco. That's what comes next in my list, but we'll go with this one. We'll follow Meditech's order. Metoprolol, POBID. That's not too bad. POBID. Alright, metformin. POBID as well. A lot of times what I like to do is make a physical copy of a patient's medication list if they bring it in person, and that way I can check, physically check off the list as I go along. It's kind of a tedious process here. It's like you have to do one set of checks for entering the medication, and then I do a second set of checks when the frequency is filled in, and then the red check mark goes away. But if you have a more efficient way of doing it, please feel free to do that, and probably tell me how you're doing it better so I can learn it too. So we'll skip this one for a second, go to the sliding scale. Root is sub-Q, we'll call it ACHS as the frequency. It's a little tricky because you can do it a couple different ways, call the frequency PRN, but I think it's a little more accurate to call the frequency ACHS and then the PRN yes. And then the reason is going to be hyperglycemia. You can go down through these choices. There's really not a hyperglycemic choice. We have BG less than 50 and 60. You got hypoglycemia, but not a hyper. So we're going to have to free text it. Hyperglycemia. Enter. And it took it. Now next to the next insulin. 60 units. So here we change that here. Notice these boxes are gray, which means they can't be changed. So the basis of the medication strength is 100 units per mil. We're going to give them 60. That's where the dose is put in. 60 units sub-Q. We got daily at 900. Let's see if this will work. Yeah, took me where I wanted. Daily at 900. PRN is going to be no. Reason for use. I guess you could put diabetes or hyperglycemia. Okay, now we're on to the Norco. 1 to 2 tabs, PO, Q4 hours, PRN pain. PRN, we'll start there. Yes. Pain. I don't know. I think there's different types of pain there. You could call it moderate pain if you want, mild to moderate. Frequency is Q4H. Check mark is green. Notice that our dose is not quite right. All we have is 1. So when you click down on 1, in order to put 1 to 2, you can actually, I think, just type in 1 to 2. It will take that. Notice it put a couple spaces in there. But if you want to, if you forget that, you can also choose, I believe it's keypad. Actually, I think it's dose calculator. Actually, I was wrong. It's not dose calculator. Go back. It's keypad. Forgot. Dose and range. So we're going to want range. 1 to 2. Okay. Does the same thing as typing in 1 to 2. Alright, so let's keep moving here. Aspirin. 81. PO, not PRN. Frequency is daily. Okay. So a little green pill. So ultimately we don't know this information. The only thing else we know here is source and possibly a last taken if they took it this morning. So you can say little green pill every morning, date, time, last taken. You can either choose something like that, 1 day, week, month, year, or I believe you can put in T for today, T for today, and N for now are shortcuts in Med REC. So we'll leave it at that. Notice the red question mark just isn't going to go away. There's really nothing we can do about that since we don't know the proper information for everything else about that medication. Last taken, we'll say T for today. I'm going to go batch chart. The source F9 or drop down. Patient. Okay. So we can sort by clicking on some of these columns. That will do alphabetical, forward or backwards. Last taken, last dose, last confirmed. So I'm going to sort by last taken and then choose everything that's not filled in. So I've chosen everything with a blank last taken, and I'm going to put unknown. Last taken, unknown. So let's see how that worked. I think I messed up the little green pill. I did. So I'm going to go back and fix known, T for today. Yeah, I clicked on the known unknown before clicking the last taken. I meant to do it the other way. So that seems to be it. About the best I can get it since the patient doesn't know. And click save. cancel. And that's still needs to be addressed here. Notice if you click on the pluses, you can see what's missing from the top of the menu. You don't have to get inside of it just to see what's going on. So you're missing information that it's going to have to be addressed by calling the patient's pharmacy, talking to family, talking to the PCP's office. Otherwise, that piece of it is going to be incomplete and give the physician a little bit of trouble to admit or transfer until that's finished. So that is the gist of the home medication reconciliation in Med REC.